Hello and welcome to the Make It Epic Wedding podcast. I'm Tim and you're here with Matt. Mate, how are you? How
G'day,
are
mate.
you on this glorious Monday?
We're back at it. Here we are, Monday. I feel like the weeks are going so bloody quick at the moment. It's freaking ridiculous. Somehow I
Tell me
almost
about
have a 7-week-old baby already, which is wild.
Mate, I reckon as soon as you have kids, like time just goes by so quickly. It's like days are
does.
long, but like the years are fast. It's crazy.
Days are long, nights are longer. You know what it's like, mate.
I told you. I remember when I was going through this with the girls, and they like were not sleeping, and I was rocking up to weddings, and I'm like, oh man, 2 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep. This is such a hassle.
It's good.
And you're
I like it.
Yeah.
I like not sleeping too much.
Well, I'm glad you get to experience this this lovely thing called parenthood.
That's good. It's exciting. Everything is good, and it's definitely different. Like we've always been. Like, I feel like we've said that a few times the last couple of weeks when we've been talking about obviously Oliver coming into the world. But yeah, it is good, and it's Monday again, and we are back into it. It's a big weekend for me. I had last weekend. I don't know about you. What did you get up to?
How was it, mate? Well, for me, actually, I had one wedding this weekend, which was kind of nice. Like I think we forget, like the last couple of months, it's been at least 2 weddings, like a weekend and potentially like during the week. Sometimes it's 3, which is fine. I don't mind that. I think like we all have like levels of like burnout potentially like a bit differently. For me, I put a lot of effort into how I manage like my time and like that I'm capable to be able to like do the things that I do and the amount of weddings that I do. But yeah, one wedding on Saturday out Waldara Farm for Kate and Ben, and it was so bloody fun. Like it was out, God, I don't even know the suburb, but it was like an hour and a half, kind of like southwest of Bathurst, or an hour southwest of Bathurst. I don't know.
Yeah,
like out west
middle of nowhere, somewhere. The middle of nowhere somewhere, but it is an epic venue. The venue is beautiful.
It's amazing, man. Like 800 acres. They got like these lovely like cottages, like an amazing like greenery like area, like garden for the ceremony, and then like the reception's just like this like really cool like wooden like cottage. Like it was just it was so good. And I do quite a few weddings out Central West way. Like
you do, you love it, love it.
Yeah,
your little Instagram video you posted today with the little Friends theme song was pretty cool. If you haven't seen that one, go and check it out because Tim did a little remake of that over the weekend. I feel like I asked you about it because I was like, oh, like that looks sick, and it was like inspired by the couple. They were keen to do it, which is always fun. And then you just work some glorious videographer magic. And,
the bench was like on the other side of the grass, and then they were like, oh yeah, like we can do something like with friends, and I'm like, there's a fountain right there. Let's bring the bench like in front of the fountain and then go for gold. They rocked it, man. It was so good.
Classic.
But like, I love it when couples like they just like really get into that.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
It's just a bit of them.
It definitely helps when like you're bringing your vibe and something that you're excited to into the day. I feel like that really makes a difference because then everybody's involved, everybody's excited, and it's not just like classic what everybody would think as traditionally what a wedding, I guess, portrait time slot is, and it just changes it up a little bit and keeps it interesting, which is always good. Yeah,
it was just super unique, super them. Yeah, great day. What about yourself, mate? How was your weekend? You had a busy one, didn't you?
I had a couple, yeah. As always, I feel like lately it's been a few weddings over the weekend. I'm going to get stuck here, and they're going to roast me for it because I don't know how to say their farm name properly. But anyway, I was at like I don't even know how to say it. But anyway, at a farm out in Camp.
How do you spell it?
PET.
Yeah, or did I put you on the spot?
CH. I feel like Petrich.
Okay, so what's
farm.
coming up is a town in Bulgaria.
don't stitch me up like this. You got a Petricha Farm. ER as well. I forgot. OR. Sorry, wow. I'm going really good. So guys, anyway, I was out there. It's in Gundaroo, in like pretty much just like I would say north of Canberra, pretty much in the middle of nowhere also. But man, freaking epic. The guys that run that are legends, and they're actually photographers, which is pretty cool because they own the venue now and they run it. And they really have they're super keen for everyone to get obviously amazing photos, being photographers themselves. And when I rocked up, they turned up with they gave me a bottle of water and some little snacks in a little doggy bag, which was pretty cool. And so they filled me up for the day. And then every time there was food going around, I'd always be offered food. So I was like, this is the vendor dream right now. And it was a good wedding over the weekend. I've never been there before, and I'm pretty keen to get back there because it was sick. Hopefully next time I'll work out how to say it correctly because English is not my strong suit at the best of times.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. So posted some photos out on my Instagram. Go check it out because it was pretty epic. We've probably got one of the best sunsets I've had in a long, long time. And then I shot another wedding yesterday, just a small little one, which is amazing, really. It was pretty cool. It was a bit of a quick turnaround. There was some family illnesses going on, which was pretty sad. But I also I feel like just on that little subject, I don't know about you, but whenever there's a reason we're shooting a wedding, whether most of the time we're shooting a wedding for, because people want to get married, but sometimes we get invited to a space that I feel is really personal. And that was Sunday for me. This couple just invited me in. They I shot their wedding for them, but the groom's mum is quite ill, and it sucks super bad. But it's such a unique space
tough
to be in. I feel I was pretty honoured to capture it and capture some memories, and I got some beautiful photos, and we'll probably share them one day, but at the moment I'm just going to let the couple soak it up because it was pretty special. But it was a couple of hours, they rocked it, and then at the end of it we were like, we'll do some photos now, when we ran outside and got absolutely bloody drenched. I've never been so wet in my life. I literally could wring my hat out, I was soaked head to toe. But the couple were just let's just do it, and she's I had a spare dress, so she just swapped out the dress because it literally went from looking amazing to weighing 150 kilos pretty quickly.
Well,
so
did you have some spare clothes?
Nah, so I just walked around with my my RMs dead set. I was there was water up to the ankles in them. It was ridiculous. And I was I feel real bad walking through your venue, but anyway, it just sounded like I was walking around like a zombie mess. But anyway, that's okay.
Yeah. No, I've become it's quite a common thing now to bring a change of clothes to every wedding because I'm either
I do too. But I was
rain or
it was a 3-hour wedding. I was I don't need it. I'll be fine. Stupid rookie mistake. Anyway,
famous
that's okay. Yeah, classic. Anyway, mate, we are finally into. Is it daylight saving time now or non-daylight? Anyway, I'm having a really good day today.
non-daylight savings. Yeah,
non-daylight savings. Yeah. And I feel that if you're planning a wedding and there are a lot of people that still love a good winter wedding, that is a pretty big change for what we're used to, I guess, or what typically everyone talks about in terms of when it comes to planning a wedding, because obviously it gets darker a little bit quicker.
There's so much less light, man. Much less light.
A big variable because most people think that you get married at 3:00 and that's just what time it all happens. For some reason, someone's pulled that number out of there back in the day, and everyone's continued along with that ceremony time. And look, to be honest, being in winter, it's pretty late.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. What do you reckon?
Yeah. It is a tough one because I've got a wedding coming up this week on Friday, and I feel the timing is what a summer wedding would be, not necessarily what a non-daylight savings wedding would be. So the ceremony is at 4:30, but sunsets at 5:30.
Yeah.
So and super difficult now to change it. Now that we got to the stage, and
impossible.
So, unfortunately, we're just not going to have that much light to get things done, right? Half an hour ceremony, 5-10 minutes of congratulations. We're going to change family photos around and get some portrait time in, but it's just not that much time, and I feel it's really a disadvantage to the couple, and it's not serving the couple well because there's not enough daylight to be able to do some really cool things. So yeah,
and it's not even doing cool things. It's not even doing cool things, really. It's even just having time and space to enjoy yourselves. Because if you're rushing around, it's I don't know. It's hard to create magic when there's no time to have the magic. If that makes sense.
Or when you feel rush and we got to bring the chaos. Obviously we want to create an amazing experience and produce a really good deliverable for our clients, but yeah, like we are going to be under the pump to make sure that we can really make sure we can work with the time and the light that we have to get this done.
Yeah.
But
And especially if you throw some travel in there too.
Yeah, there we go. Well, that highlights the importance of, just making sure that you understand whether you're planning a wedding that is daylights or not daylight savings.
100%. And I feel like that's why we thought we'd just jump on today, have a little chat, because it's only switched over in the last couple of days. I feel like it's not everywhere in Australia, but it's definitely New South Wales. It's definitely has this situation, and it definitely gets darker earlier. Like, I feel like straight away, like instantly, obviously we're losing an hour now, but like at some point in the middle of the year, like it gets dark at like 10 to 5, which like is pretty wild when you think about it. If you're having a 4 o'clock ceremony, 3 o'clock ceremony, like it doesn't leave a whole lot of time. And I know, me and you, Tim, we definitely try and educate our couples when it comes to this stuff, and we try and give them hints and tips. We both have timeline tips, which we send to our couples, and
we do.
That's helpful. Everyone says it's helpful, but sometimes you just have to do the simple thing of Googling what time sunset is and try and work out your life around that. And,
hopefully
you can do that.
Yeah. Hopefully you do have like a good vendor team, a celebrant especially, that provides like, a start time for the ceremony, and actually aware of that. Like I don't know how like the start time for this ceremony was so late. It's almost like that Swiss cheese model, where it's just like too many, like there wasn't enough information provided to be able to like set like an appropriate like time. So
yeah, I feel like sometimes I feel like sometimes as well, like I've experienced it as well. Like some venues, full stop, venues have like really dictated to the couple, this is the time that they have to get married. And man, it really, if there's something that irks me, this irks me.
What irks you this week?
There's a lot of things, but I would say at the moment, something that irks me about that is it's like, like at the end of the day, I understand venues need to make money, and, there's a lot of venues out there that aren't just solely wedding venues. They do like, they do lunch services, and, like they do other things other than weddings, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then they're trying to fit in on a Saturday afternoon, like a lunch service of food, and then they're also trying to fit in a wedding after it. So they want to do lunch, let everyone bump in, and then also do a ceremony. And it's like, well, of course you can't have, a 3 o'clock ceremony or a 3:30 ceremony in winter, but they're still asking them to do that because they want to make the money during the day. And I don't know.
Yeah,
if you're looking for a venue,
it's not serving couples very well. Yeah.
No, and a lot of the venues that are doing this are out to make some dollars. There's not a lot that do it, but it is something just to take into consideration, I guess, when you're looking at venues, especially if you're looking at a winter wedding.
Well, I've got a question for you, mate.
Hit me. I love a question.
Hit me. What do you prefer shooting in, summer or winter?
Oh, you know what? I was actually on the weekend. It was freaking cold. It got really fresh, and I was so excited to pull out my puffer jacket and put it on. I was the same. I was like, it's not even because, like, I don't know, it's just this like comfortable, a little bit snug, a little bit cold on the face. I definitely think winter is better because you can work out the layers situation a little bit better. Like in summer when it's dirty hot, I'm always like, do I wear shorts? Is it inappropriate to wear shorts? Like, I know I have this conversation with you whenever it's hot. And I'm like, hey, Tim, can I wear shorts today? What do you reckon? And you're like, nah, don't. Like, you should wear long pants. And I'm like, do I have to? Like, is it a thing?
I can't do it. I can't wear shorts. I really can't. I remember we did that. We did that elopement in Jervis Bay, and it was like
you were sweating your ass off.
Oh, I did wear shorts. But I'm like the whole day. I'm like, thank God, this is only like a 2-person elopement.
Yeah, I'm all for shorts. I probably need to get some nicer shoes than just the like dirty Nikes that I probably wear sometimes when it is real hot. But other than that, look, I am a fan of shorts. So if you're listening,
professional.
If you're listening and you're like okay with like your photographer and videographer wearing shorts or not okay with it, leave us a comment on Instagram. It's the makeitepic.wedding podcast. Tell us your thoughts. Oh. Maybe we'll put a photo up of like me wearing shorts and you wearing long pants, and we'll see. Oh man, get a vibe.
Yeah, we're really scraping the barrel for content here. We're asking about shorts.
Anyway, long story short, getting back to the question, do I prefer summer or winter? To be honest, I actually prefer winter. And it's not just because of wearing a puffer jacket and it not being that hot. It's actually because, like, we're 100% going to should be able to shoot in the perfect light. And it's probably just me being selfish. As a photographer, I love to be able to capture good light. And 99% of the time, I would say most couples are like their reception starts kind of like as it's dark. So therefore, we're shooting up to sunset. We're definitely going to get that sunset. We have that time. I do prefer shooting in winter though, also because of that reason, but also in a sense of like, if you nail that ceremony time, life's going to be so much easier for you. The downside of winter weddings is this ceremony time. And I guess if we get that wrong, we're in trouble. What about you, mate?
Yeah.
Are you a summer or winter kind of guy?
Interesting. It's a hard one. Like, I don't think I've got like a favorite. Like, I definitely don't like shooting in high 30s, low 40 degree weather. I think
nobody really does.
Nobody does, but like that does have like a substantial impact on the day, right? And like going out in the sun and getting photos and videos and like be able to like capture like what's there, just because it is so hot. I definitely am like more of a winter person, but I think that like in terms of the timing, yeah, I would say winter. It just has more of a like relaxed feel, like especially with a lot of the like country style like weddings and the rustic style weddings, like we can get a fire cranking. Yeah. It's just like everyone's snug. Like if I had to pick, I would say winter. Things just seem a little bit more like spread out, like there's a bit more time. Like,
especially for reception stuff, like, because the reception can go for a lot longer. So you get your dance floor started a bit earlier. Like, in saying that, though, the whole day does start earlier for you, like, you've got to take that into account. That, like, if, like, I guess in a perfect world, we'd probably love most couples to do, like, let's say a 2 o'clock ceremony, something like that. Something in the 2s rather than 3s or 4s, in terms of timing.
Like, definitely the 4's out. Like, for a winter wedding, anything in the 4 is out. I would say anywhere between, 2:30 to 3:30, 2 o'clock to 3:30.
3:30. Yeah, still gonna be. I find 3:30 still pretty late, and I get like let's just roll into this. This is very unscripted, but let's roll into this. Let's just maybe run through quickly what our like I guess ideal timing typically is for like most ceremonies, because like for me personally, like I know when I think about a ceremony and stuff like that, and sunset and all that goodness, I definitely have some rough ideas of how long things take in my brain, and I try and like pass that info on to couples. So obviously, like ceremony, typically we're talking like what 30 minutes, you reckon, on average we're saying for a ceremony these days?
Yeah, I think yeah, especially like these days. I don't think any ceremony really is going more than 30 minutes unless it's a church, like church wedding.
Yeah. And then we're rolling straight from there. We're kind of like, I'm always a big, massive fan of making sure you will leave a little bit of time to say hello to people. So, when you've walked down the aisle, everyone's like high on adrenaline, yelling, cheering. You've the confetti's flying everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's bubbles. Who knows what it is? All that goodness is happening. Everyone's got the woohoo girls, the woo girls out and about. They're screaming for you. All the boys are ready to give each other a cuddle. It's a good time. And the last thing you want to do is rush off to family photos and stuff like that. So I'm a massive fan of making sure you leave yourself some time to say hello to people. Enjoy that moment of like adrenaline of everybody being so excited for you guys. I feel like it's a really special time. It's probably one of the favorite, I don't know about you, it's probably one of my favorite times to like just capture moments of pure joy.
Yeah. And when we're talking about this, like this is probably one of the big times during the day where like I can actually like capture like so much of the things that and all the important people like all in one sitting. So like you know me, mate, like, and I know like you're the same. Like after the ceremony finishes, like we don't want to rush off and like get family photos or like go into anything else. Like just leave them to congratulate their family and friends, like let that time kind of like play out. And I promise you, it is the best footage and photos, like, cause it is so raw. It's so real. Like there's so much emotion and it's so them. And it makes up a lot of like my B-roll and A-roll. It's like,
pretty candid.
My films as well. It's candid. It's very candid.
We're going to talk about Candid very soon, don't you worry, but it's not on today's subject. But then, so like I would say like so we're leaving probably 15 minutes for that. So far we've got like say a 30-minute ceremony, 15 minutes to kind of like mingle, say hello to your friends and family.
Yeah.
And then we're going to roll into the most favorite part of my day, family photos. I freaking froth on it. Love family photos. You will hate them.
Note the sarcasm here.
No, look, I think like obviously family photos are very important, and I am a big fan of them. It's just there's some ways that you can do these family photos better, and really make sure that you're ticking some boxes with it.
Yeah, like it's something that can take 10 minutes or it can take 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So where you end up like on that spectrum is completely up to you. Obviously talk to your photographer about that. But yeah, there's a couple of tips here, mate. And what's the big one like for family photos?
My main family photo tip, and I feel like it's even more important in winter, is like write yourselves a list. And we should really throw the name family photos out and let's put important people. And important people photos is anybody. I say you look at your if you look at your guest list and you're like, oh my goodness, these are all the people coming. I'm so excited. And then you go, okay, who is important to me? And when you say who's important to me, everyone's important. I understand it's your wedding, but who is important that you're going to essentially want to have a nice looking straight down the camera, smiling at me, looking all prim and proper, kind of photo with. And essentially if you're going to get the shits with, your photographer by not having a photo with a said person, they need to be on that list. The list is not for me. It's not really for anybody of your vendors. It's more for you to kind of like help mentally prepare on the day, because the last thing you're going to do after you've walked down the aisle and you've like said hello to everybody is like, I'm like, hey Tim, let's do some family photos, and you're like, who am I related to? It's one of those things, and well, it's easy to miss.
This rolls into the next one, right? This rolls into the next golden nugget. That's having a wrangler, having like a family friend or a family member that knows everyone, potentially with a loud voice that can wrangle them up. So as soon as you go into family photos, it's like everyone just scatters, right? And you've got to walk around the whole venue trying to find this one person.
Grandma's great at running away. Don't know why. It's always grandma. But yeah, look, delegation's your best friend on the wedding day, isn't it? Like, I'm all for making sure you're asking your friends to or family, to help you throughout the day. Just make it work. And so typically I would say you're leaving 15 to 30 minutes for that goodness, for your family photo goodness.
I don't know, man. I think if it's taking 30 minutes, it's probably taking too much time out of your day, which you could be spending doing other things, unless it is really important to you.
Yeah. I think it really comes down to in a perfect world, 15 minutes would be awesome. I'd love that every wedding, 15 minutes family photos done. Typically it takes me about 3 or 4 seconds per photo, but it definitely takes time to get everybody in. So that's where that delegation and having the people around you to help you get those people into the photos is really important. And if you don't have those people, that's when it's sliding to the 30-minute end of the time. And I think it's important to leave some time just in case something goes quote unquote wrong in this period.
Like rain,
grandma running off, not running off, strolling off, and then having to get her to come back, so all these things take time. And I guess so far we're saying 30 minutes for ceremony, 15 minutes for mingling with guests, and then say 15 to 30 minutes with your family photos / important people. And then after that you've still got to do portraits. And I know me and you, Tim, we run fairly similar when it comes to portraits, in a sense of we're keen to not take too much of your time up away from your family and friends. We want to make sure we're getting in, we're getting the stuff we need, and we're letting you relax and mingle and enjoy the day, not feeling like you're in front of the camera the whole time.
Yeah, but it's not it's not like a one thing that fits all couples, right? These are things that specifically we need to know what's important to you. What do you want to do? What are the things that are going to elevate your wedding day? And it's part of our process. It should be part of all the vendors' processes, right? To understand what are the things that are important, and are we going to do those things? What does a perfect day look like for you? Comes back down to the planning, comes back down to the organization. And look, we love to really get involved in this, and we love to make sure that when you're creating your run sheet, or if you do have a planner, what are the things that are of value? What are the things that are going to bring you joy? What are the things that are important to you that you can incorporate into your day? And once you have those things, we can create a plan around that. And we're not, what's it like, man, on the day? We don't just, follow the run sheet from this to that. hey, like there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of improvisation that needs to happen. Like potentially a lot of things that can, that happen can interrupt like a wedding day in terms of the schedule.
We're definitely mini wedding planners on the day, aren't we? Like it just kind of happens.
I feel like we are.
Yeah. It just kind of happens, and like I think at the end of the day, like when we're talking these timings and what we've been chatting about so far, like it's definitely comes down to you, as Tim said, and we're just talking like I guess for me mainly, I talk very generally when it comes to this. So like for portraits, let's say, like if we had 40 minutes with the two of you, that'd be awesome. And if you have a bridal party, 15 to 20, something like that. So like that's kind of like you're looking at around an hour out of the big scheme of the whole day. It's not a lot, but you're going to get like all your goodness there, hopefully before sunset. So there's a few times obviously that we've just kind of thrown out there. They're the basic times that I kind of work off, I guess, when I talk to couples, especially for winter weddings. And I kind of go, all right, well, if it's dark at 5, like, let's work our way backwards from there. And then, like when you're thinking all of this too, like leave yourself some breathing room. And I feel like that's probably the golden nugget is like, winter weddings are amazing, but there are times in winter weddings that we're not leaving ourselves a little bit of breathing room in case of some variables, i.e. family photos take longer. You want to mingle with your guests a bit more, it rains.
That's a big one.
All of that sort of stuff. So leave yourselves a little bit of wiggle room in there, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes. I don't know. I feel like there's so much we could talk about this.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned before, right? Like having like a bit of wiggle room to potentially like go back to your guests, right? And that's something like we love to do. Like I try and do it every wedding, like if the time allows for it. And because we don't need like a lot of time, like especially like if we know a lot about the couple, like we're not guessing anything. Like we know who the couple are, we know what they're like, we know what the ins and outs are, we know the things that like make them like them, so we're able to really like create like a good experience and get what we need quite quickly, right? And that's a benefit of like us rocking up, knowing everything about the couple, knowing everything about the day, knowing the run sheet. And I know like I love to tell couples, I'm like, how about you guys go back to canapes, like get some food, like have a drink, like mingle with some guests, and like they absolutely love it. Like, and I feel like sometimes like they'll do that for 15 minutes, come back and be like, oh, can we like go get some more stuff now? Like that was really like
100%. But I guess the downside is that like if you don't have that time in your winter ceremony or your winter wedding, it's going to make it really difficult. So maybe let's just do like a little reverse little, like, I guess what I do with most couples is I kind of do like a little reverse, I guess quickly timeline. So let's say it's 5 o'clock dark. Let's say we leave an hour for photos in total, right? So that gets us back to 4 o'clock. So which means you have to still fit in your ceremony, some family photos, mingling with guests, all in the time prior to that. So that's when I kind of get back to like a 2:30 ceremony. So if we're saying 2:30 ceremony, I'm saying 2:30 to 3 is your ceremony. You're mingling with guests from 3 to 3:15-ish, 3:15 to like 3:30. You're taking family photos. You've got a little bit of time up your sleeve then. Like between 3:30 and 4, and then we're getting into portraits from 4 o'clock onwards, or really from 3:30 to 4 to 5 o'clock you've got time to do portraits. So whatever that kind of looks like. So if you're having a winter wedding, gets dark at 5 o'clock, maybe a 2:30 ceremony may suit you. And obviously this is a sliding scale for everybody depending on time of sunset.
Most definitely. But yeah, it goes back to having a look and having to think about, what are the things that like are really important that you want to add into there, and taking into account that, it does get dark at 5:30, but potentially, like if it's overcast, if there's clouds on the horizon, it could get dark a little bit earlier than that. And you don't want to be the one that's stuck thinking, I wish I planned this like better. Right. And that's why we keep reiterating that it's important to have a bit of wiggle room in there. It really is. So work backwards from that and just understand it's your wedding day. Like we want it to be like the most amazing experience for you. But planning does go a long way in terms of making sure that there is enough room, there is enough time to do the things that you want to do.
Absolutely. And make sure you ask your vendors, talk to them, and make sure that they are on the same page as you and they all understand what it is that you want from your wedding day. And hopefully today's little chat has helped you guys, really understand I guess that there is a difference between summer and winter weddings. And look, me and Tim both love a good winter wedding, which is always, we're excited by them. And it's just something to think about, that it gets dark early and it's important to take that into account when you're planning your day. But yeah, we, as always, love to hear from you guys. And Tim, it's been an honour chatting with you again, mate. And
that's it, mate. Nice little quick one.
Nice quick one today. We smashed it out. We've been saying we're going to do a quick one for a while, and it just never ended up happening. So we're here. We've done it. And if you guys enjoyed today's podcast, make sure you reach out to us on our socials, as well as leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be amazing. But until next week, we'll speak to you then. Bye.
Bye.